Welcome to episode 206 of Fresh Air at 5.
This week, we go on a trip to Seattle for NCCE 2025. Looking forward to the trip. I have. It's on the other side of it now, but it was a great week of learning. I share some of my walks and a little bit of my learning here as I go through this podcast. Actually, not so much of my learning at the conference, but we talked about artificial intelligence quite a bit. That was the main topic of many, many sessions. And how do we approach that in various ways with our different ages of learners? All right, you just listen now. Thanks for being here. Tell a friend. Check it out on YouTube because I'm over there now doing my dailies over there. So you can subscribe to that.
And without further ado, episode 206 of Fresh Air at 5.
Hi, I'm Steve Miletto from the Teaching, Learning, Leading K-12 podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. I'm your host, Brian Carpenter, coming to you every week from Abbotsford, which is about 45 minutes east of Vancouver, British Columbia, on the west coast of Canada. Fresh Air at 5 is my regular attempt to get some fresh air by walking about my neighborhood, which is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Stolo people, the Simath First Nation and Mathwee First Nation. I consume podcast content while I walk, then reflect on this content in an unedited video, which I post on my X, formerly known as Twitter, channel every day. This podcast is the collection of the audio taken from those daily selfie videos over the course of a week, Monday to Friday. So let's jump into my listening and learning this past week. Hey PLN, it is February 24, 2025, out for Fresh Air at 5 this morning. I got out, it's not raining, I'm thankful. So I'm out for a walk, put on about probably 4 kilometers this morning. As I'm walking, I listened to episode 123 of Evolving with Gratitude with Lainey Rowell, as she has on guest Dr. Cassie Holmes, talking about her new book called Happier Hour. And they talked about time management and talked about time in our day and doing time audits to see how and when we are spending time in our days over the course of, a time audit being a week long, every half an hour. What are you doing and how are you feeling? And looking at seeing those activities that bring us joy and satisfaction, or not the joy and satisfaction, the opposite of those things. So yes, take a listen to this. This is really good. I should do this myself and make time in my day for this, but I don't have time in my day. Oh, you know what? I probably do. So that's why another reason we need to look at these things. Thank you, Lainey. Thank you, Cassie, for your time on the podcast and sharing with us. All right. Have a fabulous day. Bye. Hey PLN, it is February 25, 2025, and I am out on the road right now. This morning was pouring rain. Didn't listen at home as I was prepping for a road trip. We're heading to Seattle to the NCCE conference, so I'm excited about that with some colleagues. And on the way down here, I listened to episode 183 of the EdTech Throwdown with Eric Geis and Nick Johnson, as they brought us literacy tools to use with students, things like writing prompts, ways of sparking literacy and inquiry in your students, and getting them to be thinking and creative writers. So that was really great. At the beginning, Eric and Nick both talked about Notebook LM and the fantasticness of the podcast feature there and creating audio stuff of your stuff. All right, Diffit has some great new tools And there's lots of great resources in this episode, so take a listen for yourself. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Hey PLN, it's Wednesday, February 26, 2025. I'm here in Seattle, Washington for the NCCE conference that's happening today till Friday, and I'm pretty excited about it. Here with a small crew from Abbotsford, and we went out for dinner last night, and we're prepping for learning today, so super excited about that. All right, some learning I did this morning was on episode 118 of the Educational Duct Tape Podcast with my bud Jake Miller, and Jake brings us updates on a bunch of ed tech things. Pair assessment as a way of using some of the resources that you have in print form or PDF and bringing those in and making assessments with them. There's other things that are there, super good. Talks about Padlet TA as a means of having an artificial intelligence factor inside of your Padlet to do some things. He brought that up because it has a URL shortener and QR code generator, because Bitly apparently is making changes. I haven't noticed, Jake. I'm a big Bitly guy and haven't noticed. So I'm going to have to dig into this and start paying money for Bitly so I don't get those ads at the front when I share links with students. All right, there's other great stuff going on in this episode. And Jake, I want to say that I'm a clicker on your podcast. I listen, subscribe regularly. So, people, get out there. Listen to Jake's podcast because number listening is low for him. And he's a little bummed out right now. And we all get bummed out. But Jake, remember, you're making a difference right here for this guy in Canada. I mean, I'm in the States now, but in Canada, like when I'm up there and I listen. All right, buddy. Thanks, Scott. Talk to you soon. Have a good day. Bye. Thing for February 26, 2025. All right, I'm nearing back to the Hyatt where I'm staying. Had a nice little walk this morning here in Seattle, and I listened to episode 124 of Evolving with Gratitude with Lainey Rowland. Lainey brings us an episode called We Aren't Supposed to Blank All the Time. And I thought, well, what goes in the blank? And well, Lainey shared with us a number of things that go in the blank, from being engaged and motivated all the time to being, I heard it, they're there, about being, happy all the time, about being, focused all the time, and being on all the time, being confident and certain all the time. And so thank you, Lainey, so much for your episode. You talked about rhythms in our lives and how we need to have our moments of quiet and moments of go and all those things. So, yes, so important. Last night we were out for dinner. I got back and I recognized that I needed some me time, some quiet time. I had to get some work done, so I can't work all the time, but I needed to be, some quiet time by myself so I can be ready for the full day of networking that's going to go on today at the NCCE conference here in Seattle. All right, that's all I got. Thanks so much. Have a fabulous day, and I will catch up with you all later. Bye. Another one more thing for February 26, 2025. As I was hanging out this afternoon, I went back to the hotel, and then I realized I forgot my hoodie up at the convention center, so I had to turn around and go back up. So I decided I'd listen to episode 49 of X Factor, Level Up Your Mental Game with Brian Martin, as Brian brings us a fantastic episode called Obstacles Make Me Stronger. And Brian, it's true. I agree with you that obstacles can seem to get in our way. But something I've said for a long time is that every obstacle is an opportunity waiting to happen. So what do you do with your obstacles? Do you look at them as barriers or as opportunities and a challenge to get over? So that's what I do, and I appreciate that so much that you talked about this today. Yes, we need to have that mindset. We need to have that in the forefront of our mind, because when we don't have obstacles, otherwise when we do have obstacles, bango, it's going to really smack us and distract us from what we need to do. All right, thanks so much. I got a bit more walking. I think I'm going to go for a photo walk around this beautiful city and take a look at some of the sights. Look at that flower pot back there. Fantastic. All right, thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye. All right, the last thing for February 26, 2025. I listened to Teach Happier, Season 5, Episode 25, as Suzanne Daly brings us an episode called Who's Your MVP? She talked about Josh Allen, MVP for the NFL, and I can't remember, Suzanne, you maybe said he was from the Buffalo Bills, or I'm not sure, but regardless, his acceptance speech remembered the people that are there supporting him to get him to the spot that he's at so that he can successfully do what he does. You know, who are the people in our lives that help us get to where we are today? You know, our family, our friends that support us, colleagues, you know, our administrators, fellow teachers, and all those people. So, you know, even our students help us to get as teachers to where we are today. I'm thankful for my wife and my friends and my students and my teachers and my administrator for the things that they do to help me get to be where I am. All right, that's all I got. Have a fabulous day. I'm walking around taking some photos here in Seattle. It's beautiful, beautiful, sunny day. All right, talk to you soon. Okay, bye. Hey, PLM, Thursday, February 27, 2025, out for Fresh Air at 5 here in Seattle as I'm at the NCCE conference. I enjoyed listening to episode 116 of the 2P podcast. It's Kevin Jost and Jason Paris. Maybe I got them backwards. I think so, maybe. Talk with Nick Edwards, who's a principal out in New Jersey, about getting through it, how he got started in his journey, and being a leader in his building, about being the popular guy or not, and about caring for kids, and about making a difference in the space that he's at, and his journey from baseball to leadership. Self-care, teacher wellness, your self-wellness, and taking care of yourself. So that's what I'm doing, taking care of myself as I'm here away from home. All right, thanks all. Have a fabulous day. Listen to the 2P podcast with Kevin and Jason. Peace out. Bye. Hey, PLN, it is Friday, February 28th, 2025, and I'm out for Fresh Air at 5 right now. I'm walking along the Lake Union, by the Lake Union Piers here in Seattle, and it's a beautiful day already, and the sun's still not up. It's quiet, and I'm enjoying my walk. All right, this morning, as I'm wrapping up my last day here at NCCE in Seattle, I listened to episode 50 of Level Up Your Mental Game X Factor with Brian Martin, as he talks to us about no one is tough alone. And it's about team. It's about being surrounded by people that lift you up and challenge you and make you better than you are. And, you know, as I'm here at this conference, there's some of my colleagues from AVS and some others from other parts of the district that are here. We're here together. And it is fantastic to see how we are spending time together, and we are a little team, challenging each other, encouraging each other, talking and supporting. NCC Abbey team is Tom Van Hunenstein, Andrew McVale, Nellie Fargeron, Michelle Gill, Lauren Asner, and Glenda Dick. You know, back home in my school, we are a tough little team, and it's not because of each of us, but it's all of us together that make that difference. All right, so Brian, it's so true. Thank you for your words. Appreciate you saying what you did. And yeah, I'm going to wrap up my time here on Fresh Air at 5 with one more episode, one more segment, so that, yes, we can go our way. All right, thanks all. Bye. The last thing for February 27, 2025, actually it's February 28th, is I listened to a bonus episode of the Easy EdTech podcast with Monica Burns, and she talks with Dr. Katie Neves-Lequinco about creating accessible documents for our students and the things to consider about doing that. And I've been privileged to have a friend and colleague, Victoria Wolders of the Accessibility Resource Center of British Columbia, teach me about this over this past year as I attended her session back in February of 2024. This is so important that we do this because it's about us caring about those that have needs for accessibility support. How much now do we watch TV with closed captions on? I've started to do that a lot more. I don't need it, but there are those that actually do need it. And when closed captions are on videos that we've created, are they accurate and proper so that the correct information is coming out? Also looking at designing digital documents, which fonts are being used, and the contrast of colors so that they can be read by screen readers. It's important that we have good graphic design techniques going on, so we're not just packing information in there, but making it readable and legible. What about also looking at the flow? This is something I need to start working on, is the flow through a document as we can tab from one object to another in a document. Is the navigation good or not? All right, thank you, Monica. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate it. And Victoria Walters, shout out to you. Okay, bye-bye. The very last thing for February 28, 2025, I'm wrapping up my time here in Seattle today as we finish up NCCE Seattle 2025, and it's been a fantastic conference to attend. I want to shout out the organizers of NCCE for putting on a great conference. This is my first attending, and I've been to some other conferences, and it was very, very well done. Enjoyed the sessions that I went to. I learned a lot, and thanks for bringing in the likes of, you got Matt Miller, Dan Fitzpatrick, you have Erica Sandstrom, and the other local presenters that I got to meet. So that was fantastic. Our team is here, and we are excited about going back and talking about our learning in our district in Abbotsford. So thanks so much for being with me this week. Thanks for journeying here on Fresh Air at 5. Hope you're inspired in your space. And without further ado, have a good Friday. Okay, bye.
I appreciate you giving me a listen as I've created this podcast experience for you. It's like a unique Blinkist or Coles Notes version of the content I take in, like a highlight reel, so that you can hopefully find some other interesting podcasts you may not have considered before. I've recorded the specific episode podcast titles and episode numbers in the show notes, which are only a click or swipe away for your learning convenience. I've also started to put together a Spotify playlist of each of the episodes so that you can also take a listen to those specifically, and the link to that playlist is in the show notes. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. And if you enjoy this podcast and its format, share it with someone else. You can also follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Brian Carr, BRYONCAR, or at Fresh Air at 5. Tweet about your experience or give it a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Fresh Air at 5 can be found on the Educational Podcast Network. Podcasts for educators, podcasts by educators. I hope you have a fantastic day. Get some fresh air before the day is out and take care of yourself because you are worth it.